Hi there, and welcome to the Beach House Garden Diary. This here is the first frost of the autumn. It's only the beginning of October, but regardless of that, this means it is the latest time to clean everything up in the garden and close the gardening season for the year. So this is what we do in this video. There were still some green tomatoes in my garden, and after discovering everything so white and shiny in the morning, I knew what was the first task which had to be done.
Oh, wow! We had such a heavy frost today in the nighttime, and this tiny sheer fabric has completely saved my raw tomatoes. I'm amazed. Wow! Because
The zucchini plants definitely didn't survive.
yeah, I have to harvest them today.
So as it was quite a nice day, I decided to make a deep clean in the garden. First removing cover fabric, and then I was ready to harvest everything that was left in the garden.
Ta-da! 4 tomatoes for the zucchinis. Let's go.
Cleaning up the tomato bed, and then doing the same with the zucchini plants.
I'm surprised that the cold didn't take them really.
And my selected bowl for the zucchinis was definitely too tiny considering the zucchinis that I had to harvest this day.
All right, these are the last bits. Let's see if I can make a meal out of these at one point.
Daytimes were still warm and cozy on my property, with all the beautiful autumn colors brightening up the days. I love the yellow leaves on the ground. Especially the sound they do while walking. This particular video clip is from the 14th of October, and the last time where this part of the garden saw some mowing activity was only in the end of September. Hence, the temperatures are low enough so that even the grass is not growing anymore. But the mushrooms certainly do grow. These here are of course the next vegan schnitzels that are growing. The roses are also still going strong, not showing any signs of slowing down. After finishing the project of the year, which was painting the fence and then building a new one for a broken segment, I was so tired that all I did in the garden was just walking around and enjoying the beautiful colors of the autumn. But these moments are over now, as my mom came to visit, and we started with eating the strawberries.
And look at this. It's 20th of October, and we have a strawberry here. As my mom is visiting me today, she said I have to eat it now, so I will.
Well, it definitely looked a little whitish and with a very funny looking texture.
I wonder if it has another taste than the ones from the springtime. Mmm. This is sweet.
And although it was a couple of weeks too late for that, we decided to go and pick some forest lingonberries with my mom. It was such a beautiful and calm day. And in addition to the berries, we also got some forest mushrooms. Yay! After that, we decided to go for a tiny walk to the beach. where it was exactly the time for the sunset. And what we didn't expect was that it was also time for a moonrise at 18:30 in the evening. And that's my mom walking in the background. The whole situation with the calm sea, the golden grasses, setting sun, and the rising moon was just magical. Next morning, it was time to get back to the neglected front yard flower bed, which looked just horribly overgrown as I hadn't had time to work on this, and plant some lilac bushes that I had purchased already a month ago. So here's my mom starting with the work on one side of the flower bed and me joining in from the other side. We had exactly 3 lilac bushes that we wanted to put down. The grand plan for this flower bed is to plant some drought-resistant plants which also survive in the Estonian cold and mulch the whole flower bed. And in addition to that, there were some white sedums that I had purchased and wanted to put
The
down.
surprising part here is that in my case, the cardboard below the mulch did not help at all against these weeds, because somehow they just grew through the cardboard and then through the mulch.
Well, I think this can only mean one thing, that next spring, when I'm actually planning to finish this, I am going to use the landscaping fabric underneath.
Only 5:30 and it's already the golden hour. That means we are in the middle of autumn and soon the days will be very short and very cold. And there's no escape, we just need to close this gardening season.
So on the very same evening, I had a plan to put down as many of the plants that I had purchased and kept on the terrace behind my house to save them from the direct and burning sunlight in the summer. So I started with planting the Stockholm sumac tree that I got from my friend as a present. He had some of these plants wildly growing in his garden, and he didn't mind giving me one of these. I think these plants look just incredible in their autumn colors. In the end, I was just so happy with the selected location in front of my mountain pines. The next task was to put down some junipers that I had purchased. I knew that it is already late in the autumn and I shouldn't purchase them because it would be a hassle to put them down on time, but I just fell in love with them and I couldn't leave them there. And of course, one day I'm hoping that it's not going to be just these junipers, but a beautiful flower bed around them. Then there was a huge question whether one should have an oak tree growing in their garden or not. And I, for some reason, felt that I should have one in my garden. Finally, I also planted some tiny arborvitaes and also one very last tiny jasmine. By the time I finished, it was already so dark outside. Despite all the planting that I had done over the past days, I still felt that I had to do one more thing. And that was finally planting my raspberries. So I picked a location near to my berry bushes. Then I digged a huge hose, then filled them with some peat moss and some natural fertilizer. Then I added some soil and finally I mulched everything.
And as a last thing, I'm going to mulch them. Here we go. 3 for each.
And they were ready for being secured against the heavy autumn
Only
winds.
these, only temporarily, until the springtime. As if these strands should get anywhere as high as they are at the moment, also next year after replanting.
I may need to invent some higher supports.
That's our experiment, if it's going to work next year.
And here we are finishing this video with some shadows from the early morning as they are getting longer and longer, even throughout the day. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. I hope you enjoyed this tiny gardening overview. I wish you all the best and take care.